What's good? You rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. Once again, hit the description, support the channel, help us get the PayPal to the goal. Everything supported, every little bit helps. Thank you everyone who's been doing it so far, even those that don't want name. I'll continue to give shout outs as much as I can, even though you don't want your names read off verbatim, but that's okay. I really appreciate you all. Now what we're about to do is take an objective run through the witness Victor's testimony. And I'm only doing this honestly since I've really found him and my sources were correct. His first name was Victor. I'm not going to drop his last name again. I don't know if he wants the attention, but if you're really following information, you'll be able to come up with his Instagram and everything as well, because he has other people linked, a girlfriend and other stuff, and I don't do that to people. Now let's run through Victor's testimony. Let's do an objective run through, okay? And this isn't verbatim. This is within the ballpark of what you said. This is me interpreting what you said in your video since you pulled everything down. So first off, you decided to go to Riva Motorsports for what? You wanted something repaired. You were doing something, going to buy something. This is you. So I'm presuming you had money on you. You're someone who had wealth of some level to go to Riva Motorsports and spend money carelessly on a vehicle. That's why you showed up. There was no other reason. It's not like you knew Tentacion was going to be there, right? Am I right? So you're there, you're hanging out. Tentacion shows up. Oh, wow, my favorite rapper. Since you claim to be a fan and you live in the same area, so, you know what I mean? Allegedly, unless you're from out of town or from a different place in Florida, but I presume you're within the same range since you drove all the way to Riva Motorsports. And that's not the only Riva Motorsports location that I have been told that they are very prominent in Florida to have multiple businesses, multiple foundations to go shop and see their different products. And he pulls in. Who was he with? Because here's my issue. You guys are walking around, they're looking. He's like, oh, that's not that fast. Oh, that's okay. And you're just following him around, enjoying it. I'm not going to say you were snickering and cackling, whatever that's called, where the little girls do that when, like groupies, when a guy shows up. I'm going to give you that much respect and say you weren't doing that. But you probably were. But maybe you weren't. So you're following him around in the store. Who was he saying this to? Because you're a fan. He doesn't know you. He doesn't know who you are. You know who he is. He's walking around making comments on the product. Was it an older man, dark skin? Was it a light skinned guy with tattoos? Who was with him? You never exclaimed that. Now we're going to get to it though. You never, in that part of your story, you never clarified who was with him. So he's walking around the store. Now, allegedly, he crossed paths with people he knew. So you had to witness that if you're following him around. Did these guys look menacing at him? Did they look like they were affecting him? Did they walk past like no care in the world? How was that interaction? Because if I'm being told that they saw each other in the store and they had no communication, you had to see them either A, look at each other, or B, ignore each other. One or the other. Did you see the other people in the store that were exclaimed to be suspects, or did you not see them? Another question you didn't go into, or you never had the chance because they didn't question you on it like they questioned anyone else about the circumstances around the situation that they were actually involved in following somebody around the store. Isn't this just weird? Even if you're a fan, you're following him around in the store. Didn't you go there to do something? Why are you following him around the store? That was the most disturbing part to me. But we're going to let you have that because you wouldn't be able to not follow him and still hear what he's saying. Even if you weren't following him and acting like you were looking at stuff around him, you were hearing what he was saying. So you gave that through a testimony to an alleged news anchor, right? So we're going to get into it. So you follow him around the store. You're listening to what he says. You're getting your vocabulary up because you want to sound like your favorite artist as a fan. Yes, we know. Who was he with when he walked out? Because now we know you said you followed him out. Followed, keyword, you followed him out and asked for a picture. Why did you wait till he left to ask him for a picture? Why'd you wait for that? What was the reason you were waiting to ask him for a picture? Oh, my homie. I'm going to wait. I'm going to holler at him a little later. Why were you waiting to follow him for a picture? I don't understand that. What were you waiting for? What was the reasons behind saying, look, I want this picture, but instead of me doing what I should and asking him for it now, since I'm following him around, I'm going to just wait. I'm going to sit back and wait till he got to be out. Then I'm going to ask him for it. Why? That's the most concerning part to me. You're following him around in a store, allegedly. You were within reach to hear everything he was talking about the bikes. You even said he said, I quote, "That's not that fast." How did you hear this if you weren't in vicinity of his speaking to hear it? Was he yelling throughout the store? Did he just turn in your direction and yell, "That's not that fast"? How did it happen? I'm confused. He tells you no. This didn't anger you. This didn't upset you. He told you he didn't really feel like it. But I still don't get why. You want to know what? I think that was an uncomfortable moment for him. Yes, they don't mind talking to fans, but people that follow you around, you don't know their intentions. So he probably said that being kind to you to get away from you, because this guy just followed me around the store, then followed me out. I'm not trying to interact with this guy. Wouldn't that make the most sense? Who's trying to interact with a guy that follows them around, follows them out? We're both men. Why are you doing this? So that's the situation. You follow him out, you ask for it, he says no. So ultimately, he didn't want to be bothered by you. You were bothersome to him at that moment. He didn't feel like it. So then you say you see him get in his car and drive around. I've seen a map of Riva Motorsports. Can you show me where he drove around somewhere? He didn't drive straight to the gate. I'm confused. From the exit, he didn't drive straight to the gate. You said he took his car, drove it around. What, he drove out a parking spot? I'll give you that. Okay, he drove out a parking spot. He's driving to this gate. Did the gate shut on him? Was it open? Tell me, how did the uncle get out? Or you said uncle. What you said. How did this alleged uncle get out and run back through? How'd he do that? If the gates closed on him, or were the gates wide open? So how was he really blocked off if the gates were open? He didn't think to back up? Maybe he didn't. Maybe at that time he was just such a shock. But how did he get out and run? What, the car pulled up and blocked and he just hopped out the car and ran? Because I don't see no pictures or nothing of a man running back into there. We see pictures of Robert Allen arriving at Riva Motorsports allegedly, because we can't even prove what date that video was taken. There wasn't a date on it. Just a photo of him going to Riva Motorsports. I bet that photo can be taken of every customer that ever walked through the door. Ever. And how can I say Robert Allen never showed up to Riva Motorsports? That'd be stupid. Riva Motorsports is one of the major shops in the Florida area. How didn't he show up there before? Does that make sense? So he showed up there once upon a time, but it happened to be that date, or like, oh, he showed up this day. Okay, I'll give you that. And that's for the investigators and when they put it out. So now he runs back in. You said, and I quote, he caught up to us. Was this man a track star, or were you waiting for this guy to get out as the signal, run to you, then you all run inside, and that happens to Tentacion? Wouldn't that make more sense? That was the signal for you to get inside? Because when you first told the story, you had a very specific mention of MP5s being used. Not only that, but you said this after you ran inside and told someone to call 911. You didn't have a cell phone, so you didn't have any mobile phone to call 911 while this was happening. And you felt so threatened, even though they pulled up on Tentacion, your favorite star, that you wouldn't stand there and call help for him as his life's in danger. So what type of fanatic are you? Are you the type that works with a setup? Are you the type that just stands by while your favorite star is assaulted? Or are you the type that runs inside and claim your eyes were left outside as you saw everything going on? How did that happen? Victor, you're a special character. You're a very special character. And the biggest fault was to put your idiocracy on camera the moment after it happened. You're talking about it like it's something rad, like something cool to watch. But this was your favorite star you watch allegedly get gunned down. You named the gun. You said you ran inside, but also came out with the story saying of what you saw. You're the most suspicious person in this entire case. I'm going to be real. Of anyone, not even the missing witness, the missing passenger. Because I don't even know if there was a passenger at this time. That's the way the sensibility tells me from examining the evidence as an objective learner. There's not even proof to show anything you said holds any weight other than us doing an analysis of maybe saying the uncle was true. That's the only thing I have from you. You can't give any details to who you saw with him, what happened, whether these people were even in the store. You were just so caught up in your feelings following your favorite star around, ask for a photo, then magically something bad happens to her. That's what we're supposed to believe from you? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Who did the 911 calls? You should know that. You ran in and you're the one who said call 911. You should know that, yo. You should know that. Okay, we're done playing with you. You should know that. I'm not playing with you with this. You want to sit there and give testimonies and then get 4 people arrested, say that they were the ones to do it now. You take everything down. You're just playing with it, playing with it, playing with it. Did you see something or not, dummy? Did you see something? If you didn't see nothing, you shouldn't be out there saying what you saw. Because now they're not even holding you as a primary witness, and they're holding 4 people on the stand in a state that has the death penalty. Is that not crazy? Oh, it's fine? You're cool with that? Oh, they're just 4 black guys getting killed. That's all it is. That's okay with you. If that's okay with you, Riva Motorsports, is that okay with you? Oh, shh, we're being quiet about this one. Oh, we can't talk about it. But there's 4 men about to be executed when things are shaky. So who really knows something? Who really knows something? Victor? Riva? Anybody else? All right, TheCzarr.